Okay, so yeah, my name is Ben West and I'm a junior engineer here currently on programme. I'll try not to repeat too much that Julie's just said. So a little bit of background on myself. I studied A-levels at Stoke-on-Trent Sixth Form College, so did my maths, physics and music technology. I began the higher apprenticeship scheme in 2011, September. So that now means that I'm in work 4 days a week and 1 day a week I study mechanical engineering degree at MMU. So obviously that's why you need the A-levels to get onto the programme, because you go straight onto the degree. Okay, so when I finished my A-levels and I was leaving college, I was obviously faced with the decision, should I go to university, should I take an apprenticeship, should I even apply for an apprenticeship? Obviously, I've applied for the apprenticeship, I'm doing the apprenticeship, but why did I do that? At the time I thought that 4 years of vocational on-the-job training is obviously going to be much more beneficial to me than being sat in a classroom for 3 years, trying to do work experience in summers, in any sort of half-term time that I get. So that was one of the main things for me. I'm doing training that will be relevant to a future job. I'm using the software that we use on site, so like whether it be the CAD software, test software, you're not using what the university has, you're using what the company is going to use, what is industry standard. Obviously there's risk of unemployment in graduates. There's a lot of people who've got engineering degrees and they're on the till in the supermarket or something, but we get extra qualifications like Julie mentioned. We do level 2 MVQ, so that's practical hands-on kind of work, using lathes and a bit of CAD and that. Level 4 MVQ, which is engineering leadership, so that's sort of like a management type qualification. There's no student debt, because obviously all the fees are covered by the company, which I should imagine is one of the reasons for the big increase in applicants with the recent increase in tuition fees. I think it's something like £9,000 a year, isn't it, for an engineering degree now? And one of the main things for me was this visible application of the learning. So I'm in university 1 day a week, I could be learning something to do with engineering, mechanical science, and I could potentially see that learning that I've acquired on the Monday in Tuesday at the factory. I'm not completely classroom based learning, not seeing any of these principles in practice. So then, why automotive engineering? It's obviously exciting, it's interesting, it's cars, it's fast cars if you come into work at somewhere like Bentley. It's varied, the technology in the industry is changing all the time, so that means that the jobs that you're doing day to day is changing all the time, the challenges that you face are changing. There's vast opportunity for progression, not just in engineering, but if I've worked in a company like Bentley, and like Julia says, we do placements all across the business, potentially transfer to finance or sales and marketing, who knows. High profile, this sort of extract there is something that Jeremy Clarkson said about the exhaust noise of the V8, which like I sit 2 people away from the guy who was responsible for the exhaust noise of the V8, so he was very happy on the Monday morning when he came in and Clarkson said that. So the highs of my experiences so far, I've been lucky enough to test a lot of high-tech facilities, not just in the UK but in Europe as well. We do a lot of our testing in acoustics at Myra Proving Ground. We do things at Millbrook and at the ERA Proving Ground, which is VW's own proving ground at obviously ERA in Germany. And the picture on the right is from a test that we did at the Audi wind tunnel in Ingolstadt. So I mean, there's not many people of my age who are studying a degree who've been able to go to the Audi wind tunnel. And completing the first year of my degree with distinction is quite a proud moment as well. And the lows, because obviously there are some. There's not as many, and I've not just been told to put less lows. Evening lectures after a full day of work can sometimes be a struggle. That's only for the first 2 years of the degree, and it's only for one evening, but we could be in work 8 till 5 and then potentially uni 5 till 8 after that. So, it can be a bit of a struggle sometimes, and juggling revision and assignments around working a full week can be a challenge sometimes, but people in the department and people in the business appreciate that you've got those commitments as well. So like this time of year is my exam time, so people are being lenient with what work they sort of land on me at this time of year. But obviously, there's some lows, but for me it's worth it and I enjoy it. So quite happy to put up with that. And that's everything that I've got planned to say, so if there's any questions for me, considering I'm on programme, then please feel free to ask.
I'll ask one again.
Okay.
I'm a fellow Stoke like yourself, then.
Right, okay.
You said you went to Stoke Sixth Form.
Yeah.
Was that Fenton or more than that?
Yeah, well, it was Fenton that has now moved into Stoke.
Yeah.
But
Which school did you go to?
Holden Lane High School.
Which one?
Holden Lane.
Holden Lane. So obviously, I know that school well. So they must, your school friends must be very proud of.
Yeah, they're probably sick of having to talk about it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very proud of it, especially, you know, in sort of Stoke, it's quite a good thing. Around the local area, a lot of people work for Bentley, but from where I'm from, it's quite a nice bragging right, really. So, and the other thing that I found quite strange was when I was at college, this sort of thing doesn't really get promoted. People don't say go and do an apprenticeship. You can get a degree. They say go to university because you need a degree to be an engineer. Well, I'm getting the work experience, I'm doing an apprenticeship, and I'm getting a degree anyway.
Did they try to send you down to Staff's University?
Not necessarily staff, but just university because they get pushed for the
The new one's next door now, isn't it? So.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Well done. Well,
Thank you. Is there any more?
How did you find out about the apprenticeship?
Searching online. I was mainly searching for sort of higher apprenticeships and then automotive apprenticeships, but there aren't that many out there, so if you're searching for a higher apprenticeship, chances are Bentley will come up and then a lot of sort of further south companies, so it was just a natural one for me to apply for.
How long did the process take for you to find out that you've got the post and you've been shortlisted, sort of thing?
I think I initially applied in March, and then you had interviews and assessment centres through sort of May, June time, and I found out, I think, about a week before I was actually going to go to university.
Do you know how many people you were up against or not?
I think in my year there were about 800 applicants, but I think that was for all apprenticeships.
Well, that's good for you then to stand out from the rest of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
too proud.
yeah.
So which is your favourite subject? Which do you excel in?
I'm not too sure. I mean, a lot of our degree now, it's not just maths and science and an engineering degree. They try and do a lot of sort of management and project kind of things. But I much prefer the maths, science side of it, so I quite enjoy that for my sins.
So where could that take you within Bentley then?
Well, the degree, in theory, could probably take me into any of the functions because it's a mechanical engineering degree, it's relatively broad. That's probably why they send us to do a mechanical engineering degree, but my programme should mean that I finish in acoustics. So it isn't, that's another thing, my degree wouldn't give me any technical knowledge of acoustics. So I'm getting a degree, but at least I get the work-based learning to give me the knowledge that I need for that. Okay.
Okay, well, Ben, I know this was your first sort of major presentation, so I think you did a fantastic job. Thanks again, Ben.
No problem.